As always, Mark Meredith at the Pentagon. I want to go to Khanna on this, the California Democratic congressman, not only because he sits, on a crucial committee looking into this, the House Armed Services Committee, the House Oversight Committee, but he's just penned a book. It's actually a really good book, Dignity in a Digital Age, that acts as sort of as a preface for some of the events we're seeing. Congressman, I'm sorry I didn't get the opportunity to talk to you when it first came out. But what intrigued me about the book is that you had argued technology needs to be less focused on geographical regions. I hope I'm getting to the gist of your point there. And then I started thinking about these social media players that are now trying to sort of divest themselves from anything having to do with the Russian market or anything to do with social media there. And that sort of illustrated your point, right?
Neil, absolutely. I mean, part of my point was that our technology jobs don't need to be in Russia and Eastern Europe and China and India, that they ought to be across America, in rural America, in the heartland, in the South. 25 million digital jobs, and a lot of these should be in the United States, and our manufacturing supply should be in the United States. I mean, the fact that our country is dependent on semiconductors from Taiwan with the rise of China and the risk of Taiwan's security is unconscionable. I mean, we need that in the United States across our country. It'll make America stronger and more prosperous and us more secure.
All right. Now, you didn't make the leap. I did from your book about the risk of concentrating or even exposure to parts of the world that ultimately get to be dangerous parts of the world, or whose leaders just get to be dangerous, like Russia. So you're seeing the likes of, DirecTV and Yahoo and a host of others who are separating, and cutting off their Russian audiences. What got me thinking about you, Congressman, is should we be careful what we wish for? That is also an avenue by which, average Russians can understand what the heck's going on right now.
Well, absolutely. One of the benefits of social media has been seeing the Ukrainian resistance. I mean, I think President Zelensky and the Ukrainians have done a masterful job of getting their story out, their heroic stories out, so that the world really sees how they are standing up to Putin, and the world sees the atrocities of Putin. Anytime you look at your Twitter feed, you see that.
It, right? The world can't see it. I'm not believing you. You address bigger issues than just this. But that's a sort of a slippery slope, right? In regulating this or forcing, in this case, good sense, I understand the motivations behind it. When you're Netflix and you want to, avoid having anything that benefits Russia taken off your service, and a host of others are doing the same, Facebook, of course, can you go too far where you're actually, cutting off your nose, your eyes, your mouth, everything else to spite the Russians? What do you think?
I think you're at a good point. I mean, we want to have crippling sanctions on Putin and the oligarchs, but we're not against the Russian people. We need the Russian people to figure out the truth. And the truth is that they've got a brutal dictator who is committing their country to something that's going to cause them irreparable harm. The country, Russia, that has the GDP less than Texas, and he's entangling them. And so, to the point that we shouldn't just be totally cutting off the Russian people from access to the internet, I think you have a fair point there. The sanctions, just for PR, we shouldn't cut them off from information.
Got it. Well, you were ahead of the curve on this one. Dignity in a Digital Age, making tech work for all of us. He gets into issues that a lot of people miss. I highly, highly recommend this book. I had a chance to read it when I was home, and it's very, very good, very thoughtful, and again, ahead of this high-tech, what's going on in Ukraine curve. We saw a lot of things that a lot of people did not. All right, we have a lot more coming up, including, you're not imagining it, as a run-up in the Dow, especially weird when you think that, the Fed chair has made it clear, I'm going to raise interest rates. Maybe what they like is the